when you think about these complicated, interconnected, dependent networks of problems, these big goop of a mesh of problems, it's always good to go back and find a framework for what it is that we're talking about. In the case of AI, um, what is AI? Well, of course, the technology of AI and the capabilities of AI is about automation. It's about automation of intelligence for the very first time. And you could combine it with mechatronics technology to embody that mechatronics and make it perform tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's AI, automation. But what is the stack that makes AI possible? What's the technology stack, the functional stack? And of course, the easiest way to think about that is kind of like a five-layer cake, which is at the lowest level is energy.
Mm-hmm.
It transforms energy to the output that I just described. The next layer is chips. The next layer is infrastructure, and that infrastructure is both hardware, software, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where land, power, and shell. This is where construction is. Data centers are the software stack, for orchestrating so it's software and hardware. The layer above that is where everybody thinks about, which is AI, which is the models.
Mm-hmm.
We know this, but it's really helpful to understand that AI is a system of models,
Mm-hmm.
and AI is a technology that understands information. And there's human information, and so we oftentimes think about AI as a chatbot.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, there's biological information, there's chemical information, there's physical information of all kinds. There's financial information, there's healthcare information, there's information of all modalities, all kinds. AI is really, really broad. And of course, human language is at the foundation of many things, but it's not the essence of everything because, as you know, biology molecules don't understand English.
Mm-hmm.
They understand something else, right? Proteins don't understand English. They understand something else. I think the next layer, the important thing is that's where the AI models are, but there's the AI is very, very diverse. And then the layer above that is applications. And it depends on the industry. And you already mentioned open evidence. You mentioned Harvey, there's Cursor, there's all kinds of, right? There's all kinds of applications. Full self-driving is really an application, an AI application that is embodied into a mechanical car.
Mm-hmm.
And Figure is an AI application that has been embodied into a mechanical human. And so you got all these different applications. Well, this 5-layer stack is one way of thinking about it. And then the next way of thinking about it I just mentioned is AI is really diverse. When you now have this framework of what the technology capabilities are, how to build the technology and how diverse it is, then you can come back and think about, okay, let's ask the question, how important is open source? Well, without open source, today, of course, the frontier models, the leading labs have chosen to use a closed source application approach, which is just fine. What people decide to do with their business models is really in the final analysis. It's their business, and they have to calculate what is the best way for them to get the return on investment so that they could scale up and make better advances. However they made that calculus is fantastic. On the other hand, without open source, as you know, startups would be challenged. Companies that are in different industries, whether it's manufacturing or transportation or it could be in healthcare, without open source today, all of that AI work would be suffocated.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just need to have something that's pre-trained. They need to have some fundamental technology about reasoning. From that, they could all adapt, fine-tune, train their AI models into exactly the domain and application they want. And so what people really, really miss is just the incredible pervasiveness and the importance of open source to all of these industries. Large companies,
mm-hmm.
Without open source, some 100-year-old companies that I work with
mm-hmm.
in industrial spaces and healthcare spaces, they would be suffocated.